Peter Obi asked for Tinubu's resignation letter, saying since he can no longer fulfill the promises he made before becoming president. Unexpectedly, Rufai Oseni backed Peter Obi by dropping concrete evidence to prove his point. And as usual, Bayo Onanuga didn't waste time. He rushed to his Twitter page to fire back, only for Charles Aniagolu to invite Bayo Onanuga to come and defend his boss in person. Since you claim you are doing a good job, come and prove it to the people. But Bayo didn't know Charles was setting a trap because the kind of questions he was asked, he never saw them coming. But first, let me show you what Rufai Oseni said that made APC run etasketa.
You see, the reason why people don't resign in Nigeria, a Ghanaian professor, Professor George Aite, wrote a book, Defeating Dictators in Africa, and he called the group of people the retinue of retainers. These are the people that want Nigerian or African leaders to remain in power for their own selfish benefits. The reason why leaders don't resign in Nigeria, or they don't want to hear the word resignation, is because of the resource and the juiciness of the office. It's not that they care about Nigeria too much. You see, in the UK, you hear Keir Starmer speaking English, the country I love. How many of our leaders really love the country? The reason why they are gunning for political position is because of their pockets. That's why there is no Nigerian leader that doesn't become wealthier or better economically after he leaves the position. If they truly love the country, they will not do politics, they will go and set up NGO. So they don't love the country. It's about them. And that's why when you tell them that you are not doing well, I mean, is it you and I that went to kill people in Bokos again? As I yesterday was 18 people, now it's grown to 25. Is it you and I? Yes, we celebrate the military because they've released 47 people. But is it you and I that captured the kids and put them in the bush in Oyo? And they're trying to get them out, they've not gotten them out. Is it you and I that did Papri? Is it you and I that did KB? Are these not feeling? Is it you and I that ensured that there was a killing slab in Woro that we've moved on from? Can we be mentioning all the bloodshed? But when you say these things now, they will say, no, you are childish. So the question I just want to ask Mr. Bayo Onanuga is, was the APC also childish when they were calling for Jonathan's resignation? Because let's do it 1-1. No cheating. Balenciaga. Was the APC also childish when they were calling for Jonathan's resignation? Because all the things they said Jonathan should resign for, it has happened under them too. Today, I'm sure my big guy here, Dr. Abatis, is just smiling in his mind, is vindicated because that time, they attacked you. I felt for you that period. There's nothing they didn't say about you. There's nothing they did right. But look at them, it's happening under their government today. Ayo, is he only resigned that Obi say that they are saying is childish? This was the same APC that said they will call for a parallel government if they don't win the election. You know what parallel government is? Anarchy. They said it, APC. They will call for a parallel. They didn't only say it. They went to defend it on television because they didn't win the election. The other day, Patotomi called for shadow government. They've gone to court. They said it. If we don't win this election, parallel government, hit up the policy. So Obi said, oh, they should resign because they are not there. They say it's puerile. Speaking big grammar, puerile. Let me tell them what is puerile this morning. What is puerile? It's a government that has not reacted to the killing of the people in Woro. That's what is puerile. It's a government that has not told us who ordered the military to leave KB before the girls were abducted. That's what is puerile. Oh, I will tell them what is puerile this morning. What is puerile is the kids that are abducted in the bush in Borno and Ibadan. That's what is very puerile to me. You know why it's puerile? Because the government is supposed to have monopoly of violence. And when the government cannot show its monopoly of violence, it is puerile to me. What is puerile? Is the farmers that are being killed in Bokos again. Bokos is one of the food baskets of this country. Bokos throws out a lot of potatoes and other crops. That's what is puerile. What is puerile to me is the bomb that went off in Mushin. And we are saying, don't worry about it. I will worry. Because it could have been you or I. Everybody, you and I, everybody go to Mushin to go and get good deals. We could have been shopping in the market then and the bomb went off. This thing has come close to home and you say I should not worry. Why your investigation? Where are those that planted the bomb? Have you shown me the people? And you're telling me somebody says, so you are calling somebody puerile. That is what is puerile as far as I'm concerned. What is puerile is the suffering of a lot of Nigerians. It's not puerile and childish for a country that has so much resource and people are suffering this much. And the people are in pain and in penury. For me, that is what is puerile. So now, it's so quick to call somebody puerile because they call for resignation. But when you were calling for Jonathan's resignation at that time, it was not puerile.
That was Rufai Oseni. But before I show you how Charles finished Bayo with those thought-provoking questions, let me ask you something. Are you genuinely happy with the current administration? If you had to score them from 0 to 100, what score are you giving them right now? Drop your honest answer in the comments. I read every single one.
I think I want to recommend to critics of this government to leave Abuja or leave Lagos and go and find out what's happening in the States. the states in Nigeria are alive. Things are happening there. Because of the President Tinubu's policies, states now have a lot of money to embark on a lot of projects that have impact on the people they govern. People always focus on federal, whereas the states, that's where it should begin from. And the states are not hesitant to always say they are happy to be governors. I mean, those governors under this administration. Things are really changing. And people should wake up to that things are changing. And the nation is better for it.
Right. Well, if the administration is convinced that it's making a big difference and that its reforms and its funds, as you said, are working, why does public frustration appear to be growing rather than diminishing? Is there a gap between government statistics and the lived reality of ordinary Nigerians?
Let me say, when people say these kind of things that you mentioned at your conclusion, has anybody really done a poll to find out whether public frustration is rising or things like that? I went to the States. I just came back. I said we went to Ebonyi, we went to Enugu, we went to Abia, we went to Kaduna State, we went to have about 8 or 9 states now. We didn't see this level of thing you're talking about.
Yeah, but did you go out and talk to ordinary people? You're in a cocoon with the president.
We were talking to people. They were praising this president.
Yeah, but
the opposition keeps maligning every time.
Right.
If
you've got a crowd of people who are paid to attend an event, I mean, they're going to say what you want them to say.
They're just ordinary Nigerians who could see the benefit. Let me give you an example. One day I was traveling from Ibadan to Lagos, and Google Maps told me that there's a go-slow in the approach to Lagos. I decided to take Ijebu, Shagamu, via Shagamu. And what struck me was that I just found myself on a paved road, concrete road. I said, wow, when was this one built? I've not been to Ijebu for some time, and the few times I've been there, I always pass going through Ekwe. So I said, wow, this is different. And I found that our people, our Ijebu people, they've stopped complaining. I said, oh, no wonder. They now have a brand new road that's not just an asphalt road, a concrete road.
Right.
Is that not beneficial to me or any use of that road? Is it beneficial? People are benefiting. Yeah, I live in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Anytime I go to Lagos and I ask Google Maps to tell me how soon will I get home, Google Maps will tell me 1 hour, 7 minutes. Before, 2 hours, 30 minutes. And the reason for that is because we now have a coastal road that has shortened my travel time. Is that not beneficial? What are people talking about really? Look, if you have students, if you are a parent and you have 4 children in university and they're able to access federal loan, which is interest-free, are they not benefiting? Are the parents not benefiting?
You see,
if you are a civil servant and you can access the credit card, very cheap loan, at below interest about 7%, now people can access that loan at single digit. Are they not benefiting? Well, I'm a Nigerian. I have people working for me privately. I don't see the level of what people are talking about because I see them and I keep asking them questions. How are things? How are they adjusting? What are the problems?
Well, if you take a very simple thing, okay, a lot of people's incomes have not gone up. I'm sure you're aware of that.
No, this government has increased minimum wage.
No, even if the labor unions are saying that does not go anywhere near, and in fact, a lot of governments are still not paying the minimum wage.
That is not true.
So
the governments are saying they can even afford to pay 100,000 naira because of the money available to them.
The point is that the labor unions are saying that for someone to live comfortably the way they were living perhaps a decade ago, that you would need to quadruple that amount of money for them to live on that level. You devalued the currency. So even if you're putting more money into the economy, the value of the money you're putting in is less than it was when the value of the naira was stronger. And that's a fact.
No, if you do the mathematics, what was the level of our currency when this president came in? Officially, 400 and something naira to $1. Unofficially, we had criminal arbitrage going on about 100% more than the official rate. What the president did was say, look, let the naira find its true value. Let the naira find its true value. And I think yesterday also, either it was IMF or World Bank, and it's also saying that Nigeria currency, the true value, is about 1.1. That's 1,100 naira or so. Even though now today, it's still 1,300 and something, even by CBN standard. Which means the naira can even do better. The naira has found its value. The naira will appreciate more as we are going. What we have found with the policy government adopted in 2023, I know that about 6 million Nigerians invest in the stock market, and they have grown well there. Companies that Dangote Cement, all of them, they are making money.
Well, Dangote has always made money. That's why he's the richest man in Africa.
I have a friend who is into
I don't think you compare Dangote to the ordinary person on the
fast food business. He told me, he used to complain at the outset of this administration. Now he told me some weeks ago, he said, Bayo, this is the best time for this kind of business. People are making money.
Yeah, I come in here because you're pointing to things like rising GDP, higher foreign reserves, increased oil, but booming stock market. But the fact is that many Nigerians say they have never felt poorer.
How many Nigerians?
No. If you go out there and you talk to people across the country, many of them, and if you don't recognize that, then you're ignoring a very significant proportion of this country.
The other side of it.
Yeah, but why don't you give us the side of the people who are actually hungry?
Nigerians are also saying that this is the best time for them. They're making money under this administration.
But how do you explain this disconnect between macroeconomic success that you're talking about and household hardship that many Nigerians are talking about? The fact is that a crate of eggs that used to cost 600 naira is now several thousand naira. I mean, that's just a fact. There's no way to get around that. And they don't have enough money to afford those things.
Let me be clear. I'm not saying there's been no increase in the cost of living. I've not said so.
Right.
What I'm saying is that, yeah, some people may not have adjusted easily because of the just 3 years in office, because of the sudden devaluation of the naira and the other policies that we have. But what I'm saying, that things are not as dismal as the opposition is saying. If you look at you mentioned macroeconomic indicators, it shows that something is going on right for this country. And you have to get that macroeconomic sector right before you can even talk about micro.
True.
Yeah. And there's nowhere in the world where reforms that you are implementing, where they have been done, where people don't go through certain pressures, certain pains. That's what we are facing. This president is absolutely aware of this problem. And a lot of policies he has been pursuing, they have been directed to reducing the pains that people face. Look, we increased the cost of fuel. It went up. What did this president do? He said, look, there's an alternative, a cheaper one to fossil fuel, and that is CNG. There's a day in this Abuja, I went to one station, to go and buy gas, and I saw a long queue. I was wondering, what's going on here? Going about 2 kilometers. What's going on here? They came to buy CNG. I know companies that said, no, they're not going to use diesel-powered generators anymore. They're now on CNG.
The president himself has acknowledged that people are suffering. I mean, he said that in his speech, Democracy Day speech. Yeah. What bothers a lot of people is not the fact that you're putting in reforms that may be potentially commendable.
As you are doing reforms, you're also doing palliatives.
What bothers,
pushing the effect of what you're doing.
What bothers people is that you're telling them to tighten their belt, whilst a lot of people in high office in government are loosening their belts. So there is that sense that we're not all suffering together, that ordinary people are bearing the brunt, while the lifestyle of those in power has not changed. How do you respond to that?
Well, that's not totally true. Let me just tell you a story. Today, after a meeting, I spoke with the Minister of Finance.
Right.
It will shock people that some ministers, some of them spoke during the last budget exercise that they didn't receive capital money and so on. Some ministers, some of them have been, because they come into office to serve, some of them have been using their personal funds to run. Some of them, they're not collecting government money.
What do you mean to run?
I mean to run their official work.
Right, but why is that? If you've got all this money, why aren't they getting their budgets?
Well, the government is doing so many things at the same time.
So the government is disorganized. It doesn't know where to... Well, I mean, a lot of the ministries are saying they're not getting their budget.
That is capital budget. Government is doing so many things at the same time. Right. So many things. So you have to prioritize, you have to put the money. So that's what's going on.
Okay, well,
3
years ago, President Tinubu said he would ask not to be re-elected if he failed to improve dramatically electricity supply. Can you point to a tangible...
You didn't finish that quote.
No,
finish it.
He said I didn't finish.
No,
what I'm asking,
that's one of the
can you point to a tangible improvement that the average Nigerian can feel today when they switch on a light or run a business?
My brother, that is not exactly what he said.
Well, you finished
the
quote.
Quote. No, you
what was the rest of the quote?
Finish the quote. He said he will give Nigerians power. He said, that's what I'm paraphrasing now.
Yeah.
And he said he also end the era of estimated billing.
Right.
A problem that he has largely solved because his government, it should not be his business, but his government is producing meter, asking the discos to give people free of charge. And he said, if by any chance he has reasons where he cannot give Nigerians adequate power, then they should understand the problems are in
No, but he said, don't vote me, don't re-elect me.
No.
I mean, it's very clear. We have the clear.
He didn't say it that way.
Well, he said it that way.
Let me see. If I open my phone, I can tell you exactly what he said.
Actually, that clip, I'm not sure. I mean, we've played it with one of your spokesmen before, Daniel Buala. I mean, we'll have to find it. But I didn't realize we're going to have an argument over it.
I gave you the full quote. I gave Buala. I said, look, they just fooled you here. The full quote, the president gave some extenuating circumstances that if he's not able to do this because of so and so, people should understand.
Right. Well,
and what he did, to show that he meant business, the first thing he did when he came to office, he signed the Electricity Act, which enables states to generate power, to transmit power, to distribute power. He did that.
Yeah, and that's a good thing.
And some of the states are taking advantage of that. More are going to do so.
That is a good thing.
That will make the electric sector open, more competitive.
We'll have to see. He did say he would pull it off before
power
seeking re-election.
Has increased. We are not at the level that the president meant it. I can tell you that. What people don't know, and which unfortunately Peter did not know, Peter Obi, when he came and said it's going to generate 10,000 megawatts, we already have in Nigeria installed capacity of 13,500 megawatts. And what are the problems? No gas. Nigeria, or the players in the sector, are owing the gas companies. Legacy debt, over 4 trillion, which has become the problem of this administration. And it's trying to clear it. And the transmission, the grid, is outdated.
Indeed. Peter Obi said insecurity has worsened. The presidency says insecurity has improved. If security is improving, how do you explain the continuing wave of kidnappings, attacks on communities, and the recent killings of senior military officers in Nigeria?
Well, some of these bushes we're talking about, it's not that Nigeria is under siege, as the opposition wants you to believe. They want to create everywhere. There's insecurity.
Yeah, but you can't travel the way. I mean, in 2016, I drove from Abuja to President Buhari's hometown.
Last week.
And I drove from his hometown in Daura all the way to Calabar without any police.
Week, we drove from Abakaliki.
Who's we?
To Enugu.
You're a government official. You've got guards with you.
No guard. We drove from Abakaliki to Enugu.
Yeah,
some 2 weeks ago.
No, hold on.
2 weeks ago, me and my driver, we drove from Kaduna back to Abuja.
Abakaliki to Enugu is a couple of hours drive. It's within the same locality.
I did travel.
You can't drive from the north to the south.
I went from Lagos. I traveled from Lagos to Oyo to go and attend a burial ceremony. Look, don't let people. You see, the problem is that the media in Nigeria they're even creating the problem. The way they report insecurity is as if the entire country is consumed.
Can you drive from Borno State?
Yeah, some people do
through Yobe, through Adamawa, down to Niger State.
I have.
Well, let me make reference to the graphics you can see on the screen. That data was released by the respected West African security firm Beacon Security and Intelligence Limited, as well as ACLED, which is the leading international organization for disaggregated data collection, conflict tracking, and crisis mapping in West Africa. You know, what it shows is terror-related fatalities between January 2015 and June 2026. Those fatalities stood at 53,047 deaths. Deaths caused by groups like ISWAP, bandits, IPOB, ESN, herder militias.
Between what years?
Between 2015 and 2026. So the president claimed in his most recent address of an 81% decrease between 2015 and 2026, without referencing the base of the percentage or its period of comparison, and all of that, according to this data, is unfounded. Because the data shows a 4.6% increase between 2015 and 2025, with a steady rise in fatalities across those years. So the data he's putting out is incorrect. I mean,
you can't be so categorical about that.
Well, these are the groups these are people who monitor
the data
this
we
stuff.
operate on is the data provided by the Office of National Security Advisor. That's the data we use, and whoever has compiled this,
where
you got it from.
These are independent people who are internationally acknowledged. Who are internationally acknowledged as people who do these things.
The data we have is the data from the Office of National Security Advisor. And you cannot say the data is wrong and only this one is right. That may not be
right. Well, okay, let me ask you this, because we're almost out of time. If you could speak directly to a Nigerian family today, struggling with food prices, school fees, electricity costs, insecurity, and they ask you a simple question: why should we trust this government for another 4 years? What would your answer be?
No, I will tell the Nigerian family, I also have a family, I'm a family man, that whatever problem we are going through now is temporary. The foundation for a stronger economy is already being laid. And indicators, they are all flashing green, that we are at the brink of a prosperous country. And that whatever pain we are going through, whatever difficulty we are going through, they are just temporary and we are going to overcome them. As for food prices, there's a time it went through the roof. But everybody knows that food prices came down, inflation came down, and things were getting disrupted by the crisis in the Middle East. I strongly believe, and I want to tell Nigerians to believe that things are going to get much, much better. Even in the next 1 year, in another 4 years of President Bola Tinubu.
But just re-elect us in 2027.
No, we have concrete plans. You see, the opposition who are shouting, who are making all kinds of assumptions, attacking the president, have they ever come with any better plan? They only say, oh, we get there, we do 10,000 megawatts of electricity. We already have installed 13.5 thousand megawatts of electricity. And they will say, oh, in fact, one of them came here and said, you ask him, what are you going to do from what Tinubu is doing? He said, oh, he will do something different. Is he going to bring back subsidy? Is he going to fix the rate of Naira? Look, these people, before you can even be talking about them, let them come out with their program so that we can interrogate it and know whether they have anything feasible for the people of Nigeria.
Right.
So there you have it. Peter Obi called for Tinubu's resignation. Rufai backed him with evidence. Bayo fired back on Twitter, then walked into Char's studio to defend himself and his boss. Now, I want your honest verdict. Was Bayo able to defend President Bola Tinubu, or did Charles expose everything? Drop your score in the comments. 0 to 100 for this administration. Let's see what Nigeria really thinks. If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe to Ask Dami. I break down Nigerian politics and trending topics every day in the simplest way possible. No bias, no heavy grammar. Just the full honest story. Turn on your notification bell so you never miss when I drop something new. I will see you in my next video.